Welcome to Mixed Media Creations with me, Creative Katie, Karen Burchill. Join my Facebook by the same name, Mixed Media Creations. Also, follow me on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to share the channel, my Instagram, and my Facebook group with your crafty friends. Today we have Index Card a Day number 7. It's entitled Faith, Hope, and Love. On this ICAD, I'm using the technique that I taught you in the Mixed Media Technique tag number 12, Texture by Collage. Links to products that I use can be found in the description box below. We're getting ready to do Index Card a Day, ICAD number 7. And this one is we are going to use the Mixed Media Technique tag technique, adding texture by collaging. And here are the tags that I created in that technique tag video, and I'll put a link to that video so you can get the full explanation and see all the ins and outs on the various ways that I collage to get texture. So we're just going to get started on here. So what I have here is so this is a flashcard that I was doing an experiment on. I was trying to use some crackle medium, did not work. So because I'm going to layer something on here, I figure this will work really well. So what I'm going to collage on this one is this twist paper, and this was something that was in my stash that I used 20 years ago to make these twist paper angels and stuff, but I'll put a link to it in Amazon because I have been able to source some out. And what I'm going to do is just use some Mod Podge, if I can find it. And I am going to just put this on here before I put any color. So I just wanted all those wrinkles, and I'm using Mod Podge because it really won't matter with what I'm going to do here. So I'm going, slightly cheaper version. Also, I have a whole series of brushes. Once they get kind of gooped up like this and looking a little like they're showing their wear, I just pass them down, and then they become the brushes that I use for these kind of techniques for using with Mod Podge. So I'm not using my good brushes. So I'm just going to put a coat of this. You don't need to gesso the card in this case, even though that's typically what I do for all my cards right off the bat. And I want to get this texture in here. I don't want to flatten it out. So I'm just going to make sure that it's all adhered, and I'm going to dry this and cut around it, and I will be back. So now that it's cut out and dried, I'm just going around and I'm adding another coat of the gesso or the Mod Podge, and I'm just making sure that everything is firmly adhered down, checking the edges because I just want this to be nice and texturized, but I want it well put down. Okay, so it's all dry. And I actually reapplied it because I had it going the other way, and I decided I wanted the creases going this way. So what I have here is just some Prussian blue that I put into another bottle. It was a tube that was just going, and I'm just going to spread this in. And I want some of the darks and the lights. I don't want an even coverage necessarily. And I'm trying to get it into the nooks and the crannies, just kind of working it in a little bit, because I'm going to use another color to bring out the creases, the texture. And as I did on this one, I'm going to be using gold, because that's going to work with what I have planned. So if if you're wanting to know what Daisy Yellow's prompts are, she has a list posted on her blog. You can go there just to put in Daisy Yellow blog and it'll take you to that. It's very well organized. Okay, so I'm just going to dry this now that we have, you can see some of the lights and the darks, and I think that's just going to add to the look that I'm going for, I hope. Like I said, it's all about experimentation and trying something that you haven't done before when there's, no risk. I mean, it's a tiny little piece of paper. I'll be back when it's dry. So now I want to bring out that texture, and I'm just going to put some gold paint. This is Artist Loft brand. And I'm just going to brush it ever so slightly. You could do this with your fingers, just kind of tapping. If you watch the Mixed Media, the Technique Tag video, I show a lot about how to, once you have that texture on there, ways of bringing it out so that you can really enjoy it. And you can see how this is really, building it up. And I can continue doing this till I get the look that I want, or how much gold I want. Now, if you get it in a place where you don't want so much, or it's, you can take a baby wipe if you're going really quickly, and you can remove it. Like right there, I don't want it, so I can just kind of go there. Warning, with the metallic, it tends to leave a bit of a metallic footprint on it. So then I just want to put gold on here. With this one, I do have kind of an idea of exactly what I want to do. And I could have done, the same focal point with any kind of background, using any background technique. So that is looking pretty sharp. So I'm going to dry this up. I'm just going to set that aside for now. Now, what I want to put on here are puzzle pieces. And I'm going to stamp some words onto here. Now, the puzzle piece has, I've been playing around a little bit, the puzzle piece has a shiny surface. So, I mean, I could flip it and do that on the back side, like that, to do it. And I think that's what I'm going to do, because I played with it, and, here's the one that I did, and it kind of got kind of gloppy. The puzzle piece absorbs a lot of the moisture, so that's part of the problem. So I'm going to try it this way. So what I want to do is put a coat of You know what? I am going to try to put clear gesso on this because I want to put gold afterwards. And since it's kind of brown, I'm just going to play with what I have. So clear gesso, if you want to preserve whatever color's underneath it, but give it a tooth, clear gesso is a way of doing that. So if this was blue underneath, then I would just save the blue. I wouldn't turn it white as you would with white gesso. So it's just something that I've started playing with. I won it in a giveaway from the Crafters Workshop. They were so generous. There were so many wonderful in the gift pack that I got. I got some clear gesso and some stencils, and it was wonderful. So I'm just kind of moving this around, and I want to be able to paint the gold on the sides as well. So I'm just giving that a coat of gesso. Okay, so I have my gold paint here. And as usual, I'm prepared to do a couple coats, and I want to get the gold on the side as well. So it's definitely going on less globby than when I gessoed it like this one. So the other option that you have with the puzzle pieces is to take, you know, just some regular sandpaper, sanding tool, sanding block, and sand it down a little bit, and then put the gesso on it so it doesn't peel, that doesn't lift off, because that's what was happening. It's just once you do that, it just really soaks in the paint, the moisture. So it's a bit of a finicky job with the puzzle pieces. You know, just buy those at used stores, the dollar store. You can also get a puzzle punch, and that's what this is, and punch them out. And then they're a little bit flatter. My plan for this one is to turn this into a fridge magnet. So I'm actually wanting and liking the idea of having it kind of 3D. Okay, so I'm going to dry this and put on another coat, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I have some leftover gold. So what I'm going to do is do some splatters on here. It just adds a little bit more interest. It's so not as predictable. Okay, and you can see how the splatters just add that little something. And then I'm just going to grab something that, some of my leftover paint from before, and I'm just going to splatter the gold, the leftover gold onto here. In an effort to, you know, nothing wasted. And you can see how, maybe you can see, I don't know. It's just added one more layer of interest to a colored paper. And just dry this. Looks like I've been creating. Okay, so we have, now I don't know if I want to put them, they don't quite fit like that. So I guess I'm going to have to go this orientation. like that. And, you know, just for comparison's sake, if you went with the burgundy color, which was my first, you could go with the gold, or you could go white, you know, any color. But I like this combination. So what I want to do on these now, when they're completely dry, is I'm going to stamp. And in order to stamp, what I have are these miniature stamp sets that I got at Michael's. It was like $1.50. And what I've done is I've just arranged them. I put all the vowels in one pile. There's the vowel pack, you know, and then I went in alphabetical order, just splitting them up. So it's just, they're in a bunch, so it's easier to locate them when I'm looking for them. So I've already taken out the letters, so I'm just going to let these dry and we'll be back to do some stamping. I'll just dry this. Looks like I've been creating. Okay, so we have, now I don't know if I want to put them, they don't quite fit like that, so I guess I'm going to have to go this orientation. Like that. And, you know, just for comparison's sake, if you went with the burgundy color, which was my first, you could go with the gold, or you could go white, you know, any color. But I like this combination. So what I want to do on these now, when they're completely dry, is I'm going to stamp. And in order to stamp, what I have are these miniature stamp sets that I got at Michael's. It was like $1.50. And what I've done is I've just arranged them. I put all the vowels in one pile. There's the vowel pack, you know, and then I went in alphabetical order, just splitting them up. So it's just, they're in a bunch, so it's easier to locate them when I'm looking for them. So I've already taken out the letters, so I'm just going to let these dry and we'll be back to do some stamping. Okay, so I've put them all out, so I have Faith, and actually I think this one. So I'm going to use my archival ink. And I'm, you know, not trying to be perfect because I know I'm not going to be. So there's Faith. Now I need Hope. And then I need Love. Okay. So we have, now I can put these however I want them. Do I want them one underneath the other? Let's zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. Where do we want them? What I do seem to be missing here is now the edges seem to be, they need to be darkened. So I'm just going to come with the archival ink So in some of the places up here, it's really hard to get the sponge into, so I'm just using my woodless charcoal to get into that nook and cranny. So it gives a little bit of shading. You can use your Stabilo oil pencil. Just be careful not to press too hard because you don't want to pull off the paint underneath. I may recommend, if you were doing it on your own, just giving it a little extra time to dry. The puzzle piece does soak in a lot of moisture, and like right now I can feel it is wet underneath. It's not completely dry. So if I wasn't doing it on a video, I would definitely give it more time. Faith, hope, love. Okay. Okay, so now I just have clear gel tacky. If you had heavy gel medium, that would work definitely. I'm not sure if my gel medium is up to the task, and I really wanted to make sure this sticks. Especially when there's texture underneath, you really want to make sure that it will stay put. You could also use Gorilla Glue or whatever strong adhesive that you have. You don't necessarily need to go. Now I'm kind of measuring here. And I'm going to let that dry. We're just gonna, what I would do, I'm going to paint this all black. Okay, so when I wet this, because this wasn't completely dry and I'm rushing the process, it kind of warped and was lifting off. So I'm just going to put these on here and walk away and let it dry, and I will finish it when it's all dry. Give it some time. So I just found, kind of a matching. It's got the blue and the gold on it, and I cut it to size, and I'm just going to trim just a smidge more. I've already painted it black on the back. So we're gonna, but because there were some greebles on there and stuff on there, it's not flat, so it doesn't look exactly pretty. So this will hide a multitude of messes. So that's kind of why I'm doing it. on there. It's not an exact science by any means, but we're just going to make it a little bit prettier. Okay, good enough. Good enough. And I'm going to use matte gel on here. It's a little bit not as wet as just matte medium would be. Just gonna kind of scooch that on there, making sure that it's all good. And then I'm going to just cut this magnetic piece, and I'll put a link to, I found some of these sheets that you can buy on Amazon. And just nice and handy peel and stick. And I'm just putting that on there. And then you have a fridge magnet, or it can go on a filing cabinet, anything metallic. So that's one way that you can, you know, take these ICADs that you're doing, if you find one that you particularly like, and turn it into something that becomes usable art. Give me a comment. If you like these videos in real time, let me know. I usually have sped up my videos and done a voiceover that's a little quicker, but I'm thinking that, you know, some people were requesting this. So if you're liking those videos, let me know so I can continue. I would continue to do that. If you like the sped up versions better, let me know that too. Share with your crafty friends. Give me a thumbs up. Check the links if you're looking for any of these products, and we'll see you next time.